All right, hello, Sooner Nation. So we tried to do the pod last week, and I was just telling Goss before we got on, if we've said many times, our wives do not like this podcast. So I thought going away from my family would have been like, hey, I got to record a pod real quick and tell them how horrible you guys are. So wouldn't have been
guys,
a good idea.
I do want you to know, don't feel sorry for Jeremy. He did go on a vacation. I saw pictures. He did. So if you're like Goss is on vacation every week and Jeremy never goes, Jeremy did get to go. Okay.
Finally, our sponsorship money I got to use a little bit.
So. Yes. All that.
People looking at me and saying, man, Downey's really dark. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. But it's whitening up already being in Oklahoma. So
yeah, no, it was. I came back, from the cruise, and my legs were like nice and brown, and then like 2 days later, I'm like, oh, and they're peeling, and I'm back, and welcome back to work. So, a little reality slap in the face back to us.
Well, the good thing about being out for a week is it gave us a week to kind of collect ourselves and talk about SEC Media Days. I literally about called it Big 12 Media Days because I'm so used to it.
Hey, it's all right. We're professionals
here. Well, I just went right through it, about called myself out. That's how you started off. But I'll let you start, Steve, like on what you thought.
Well, it's just kind of like the dichotomy of Oklahoma football right now is Media Day. I thought went really well. Thought there was like good buzz for especially Mateer. We saw the different people who, one of the ESPN, one of the SEC network guys picked OU to win the SEC. Another guy picked Mateer to win the Heisman. Saw some surprise teams, and everyone just seemed really positive and upbeat, and we're turning a corner and all that. Well, then the actual preseason media rankings come out, and we're 10th, and then the all SEC teams come out, and Jeremy, we had 3 people make the all SEC teams. Can you tell me who those 3 people were?
Let's see. Spears Jennings?
Nope.
Mason Thomas?
Our Mason Thomas was second team, the end. There you go. There's
let's
one.
See. I would smart way person would be Kip Lewis, but I know he's not on there.
No.
Does Kip Lewis still play? Does Kip Lewis still play on our team?
It doesn't matter. He didn't make any big plays last year, so why would anybody remember him?
He didn't save us against Auburn, didn't make a big play against Alabama. No big deal. So
no big deal. I'm pretty sure the whole entire state of Alabama knows Kip Lewis's name. But to our Sooner Cast fans in Alabama, no, it was not Kip Lewis. Jaden Ott was second team running back. And I would not have, I don't think hardly any Sooner fans out there. If anyone out there is screaming at the radio or phone or whatever you're using to listen to us right now, if you've got us, or if I think what most people do, Jeremy, is they wait until it's posted on YouTube and they watch this as a family so they can see our faces. So as you're sitting here looking at Downey and I, and we talked about, this is the first time we've actually both been on our proper setup at the same time. We're both on the computer. Notice our sound's better. We're borderline professionals, but I'll tell you who else is a professional. That is our long snapper. Was the third team long snapper. So, Ben Anderson.
I would have thought our punter.
Yeah, Ben Anderson. He's from Kennesaw State, so can't trust anything with that. Was third team. So, yeah, not a whole lot. As the great philosopher Rodney Dangerfield said, not a whole lot of respect there for the Sooners when it came to pen to paper. But I will say this, and then I'm going to cede some time here to Jeremy. This is when we're at our best, guys. Oklahoma, and you've heard me if you listen to this pod in any amount whatsoever, we're a chip on the shoulder team. We're a chip on the shoulder state. We're the nobody believes in us people. That's when we're at our best. And you know what, guys? Nobody believes in you. Nobody does. Yeah. We do, but
yeah, it is. It's crazy. I've tried to steer back. I got on TikTok live Saturday when we were in New Orleans. Just because I like getting on there every once in a while and listening to people, because I have a bunch of OU fans that get on there. And it's so hilarious. Some of these Texas people get on there and talk about how it's so funny that we think we're going to be good. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I never said we were going to be good. Now, does it look better? Yes. But are we steering back from being like, oh, obviously I'm not going to say, well, we're going to go 10-2. Would it surprise? I'm just going to be honest to you, and this is probably me wearing crimson colored glasses. If we went 10-2, I wouldn't go, that's really surprising, because I don't know if it would surprise me, just because. Have you noticed that Arbuckle and Mateer have kept it really close to their chests, like what their offense looks like? Because the defense leaked it a little bit. I think it was our Mason Thomas said something about.
I think it was Robert Spears Jennings too was talking about.
That's what it was. That's Spears Jennings. He was like, I don't think people realize what our offense is going to look like this year, and I think the offense did some damage to the D in spring. And they kind of opened their eyes like, damn, this is a really good offense we got.
I mean, just looking at facts, this isn't OU colored glasses. This is just these are just facts that if you were to poll everybody who and one reason, and I'm going to besmirch Jeremy and I a little bit here. Here's the thing about SEC Media Days. Okay, Jeremy and I could have went to SEC Media Days. Okay, if you've got enough followers with any podcast, if you've got enough, and we met the thresholds for that, and you pay $1,000, you can go be at SEC Media Day. Now, if someone wants to sponsor us to go to that next year, once again, Jeremy and I will go. But for some reason, Jeremy's wife wanted to go to the beach with their family instead of just Jeremy and I going to SEC Media Days. But anyway, I digress. But the people who voted on this were fans. They were like Jeremy and I. If you give Jeremy and I a vote, we're putting more than 3 Sooners on those teams. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty obvious. We are going to do that. And so it's not really the world's greatest picture when you see these polls. But that being said, we just have to understand that take all of that part out. We had the quarterback that everybody wanted out of the portal.
Yep.
Okay. The quarterback everybody wanted the year before was Cam Ward. Okay. And did Cam Ward have a pretty good season at Miami last year? Yeah. Would we take the same kind of season? If John Mateer has the same season that Cam Ward had last year, we're in the college football playoff. Yeah. Because Brent Venables is going to have a good defense. We've recruited well on defense. We're going to be good on defense. That's not a concern. Our concern is offense. We got the quarterback that everybody wanted, and we got the running back everybody wanted. Yeah. And while Jeremy and I are both still concerned at wide receiver, we're still concerned. My biggest concerns on the offensive line. We're going to be better on offense, guys.
Yeah. And what did I say last year? Like, if we scored 24 points, I see Dawson's already blowing up. They heard about it. He been able.
They heard about it. They're like, "Whoa, no way!"
But God, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Yeah.
The phone got me out of my game.
Yeah.
No, but what did I say last year? It's like if we score 24 points, we're going to win most games. And you know what? It's kind of scary to think it, but maybe our defense really is better this year. Yeah. I mean, we've got deeper depth at defensive line, and that's what you need to compete in SEC. So, I mean, we have the pieces. So, I mean, we're not crazy to be optimistic, well, I don't think.
Jeremy and I do, and I think most listeners of this pod, we put quite a bit of stock into what Gabe and Teddy have to say on a week-to-week basis as far as I just think during the Gabe and Teddy are state radio guys. These are university employees. They're state radio. They're going to give us some peeks behind the curtain, but they're also just going to kind of tell us what's going on. And for the entirety of our SEC move, and since BV has been here, all we've heard is that we got to be better on the defensive line. We got to be better on the defensive line. We got to be better on the defensive line. And now, consensus-wise, whether it's Phil Steele or some other pundits on X and even ESPN.com, everyone says we have the best defensive line in the SEC. Some people say we have the best defensive line in the country. That has to account for something, guys. I mean, now I don't know how we can have the best defensive line in the SEC, one of the best in the country, and we only have one guy who makes the second team. But I do think that speaks some to like what Tennessee had last year of this the depth that we have there and the different people we can rotate through there. I mean, everybody wanted Dominic Williams 2 years ago. We're going to have him for 2 years. He was a big get. Everybody wanted David Stone. Could Jaden Jackson be the best defensive lineman in the SEC? Possibly. Okay, that was a guy who, no offense to our peers who voted on SEC Media Day, but he's a guy when you look at like TFF and you look at draft eligible things, he's like the number one rated interior defensive lineman in his class in that. And, do we need a jump from PJ or Taylor Wine or, someone like that? Yeah, we do. But guys, and I didn't even mention Marvin Jones Jr., who was a 5-star that we got in the portal. I guess I did mention him now, but there's lots and lots of talent there. And those are guys that every program in the SEC would want. Everybody would.
And then don't you think it's funny, like Marvin Jones really hasn't been mentioned much this spring. Right. I thought a thing that I thought was very plus for the spring is talking about Danny Okoye. I mean, I think his potential is out of this world.
You look at Danny and PJ are just athletic freaks. I mean, those are guys that, those are the guys you send off the bus early. I mean, those are, and you want as many of those guys as you can have.
Marvin Jones, you put them right in the front because those are guys that look like NFL football players. And PJ's got to have a big year this year. I mean, we've talked about him the last couple of years. Like, is this his year? Is this his year? It's like, I think we really got to hope that he has a big year this year. And I think, signs are showing that he is. But that said, you don't know until you get there. I mean, we're going to know a lot quicker this year with Michigan coming to town. Especially our offensive line. Offensive line, we're going to a lot of question marks. We'll learn about that.
To me, Jeremy, I don't think most games you go into, you look at, okay, if this, then this. And, like what I'm saying is you can win a close game, you can lose a close game, you can win a blowout, you can lose a blowout. Not very often do you go into a game and really all four are plausible. I think we're going to win the Michigan game. I think we're going to win the Michigan game by 14 points is what I think will happen. Mm-hmm. Because I think that Michigan won the games that they were not very good on the road last year. They only won one road game last year. They're starting a true freshman quarterback on the road at night in Norman. Game day is going to be there. It's going to be a great atmosphere, super great atmosphere. And, last year when we had, those great atmospheres, those opposing quarterbacks didn't play well. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I know we lost the Tennessee game, but it wasn't because Nico came in and picked us apart. It's because Jackson Arnold was not a great football player for the Sooners last year. We're just going to leave it right there.
I'm glad you brought up Jackson Arnold. I'm going to ask you this because I thought this was crazy. Hugh Freeze, I think he said the defense.
I played golf with you yesterday, but what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I probably didn't mention this. Yeah. That was also paid with our sponsorship money. Yeah, him and Hugh Freeze went to Augusta. But that he told his defense to let up so Arnold could have more confidence. He didn't have much confidence. I'm like, not a good sign. No. If you're telling your defense, let up on this guy.
Here's the deal, guys, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a preview. Our friends over at Sooner Scoop, they always talk about the Doom Pod. Is this going to be the Doom Pod, or is this going to be the Drunk Pod, or is this going to be that? If we freaking lose to Jackson Arnold at home, it's going to be the Steve is ready to fire Venables, burn the place down, turn it into a parking lot. I don't know what the crap's going to happen, but if that happens, guys, it's going to be bad news. It will be one. Jeremy and I have really tried to keep our pods, in the 30 to 45 minute range. That may be like 5 hours. That may be a full filibuster. I'll
be like this the whole time, like going to sleep. Yeah. Like, what are you saying? Sorry, we've been on here for 4 hours.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, I look at it this way: when you have an established quarterback, it helps you win those close games.
100%. And that, Jeremy, is why I think OU being picked 10th is ludicrous. When you just look at our schedule, okay? I mean, obviously, Illinois State, we're going to win that game. Michigan, freshman quarterback. Temple is terrible. Auburn, Jackson Arnold. Kent State sucks. Texas, Arch. But guys, that's going to be Arch's first, Red River. I mean, how does Arch look at when they go into the shoe? I don't know. But right now, anyone can just say, I guarantee you Arch is better than John Mateer. You don't know that yet. We don't. We don't.
No.
I mean, and that's our first 6 games just right there.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. If you talk to like a lot of quarterbacks that have played college football and they played against Brent Venables' defense, they say his defense is one of the hardest ones to prepare for because he throws so many different wrinkles at you. Arch, he's getting so much praise because now if his last name was Carter instead of Manning, I don't know if he would get this much praise. I'm not saying the guy's not going to be good. My deal is
we don't know. We saw flashes.
And look at Jackson Arnold last year. You look at Jackson Arnold, everybody thought, well, he was a can't miss.
Yeah.
And they're kind of saying the same thing about Arch. And it's like, you know what? The guy, it's not like he went out and set the world on fire.
No. So, and like, guys, who he played against last year, but there's no guarantee there. Now, this is going to be my little soapbox that if you're a South Carolina fan and you're watching this, number one, you probably got, I don't know if anyone saw the interaction on YouTube where a Texas fan got sent to watch ours and he's like, how does the logarithm send this to a Longhorn? So maybe the logarithm will send this to a Gamecock fan. And this is no disrespect.
What did he say? A logarithm? I think he totally butchered his name, but I don't know.
And then we're not going to speak ill of our orange-blooded brethren as
yes, we are.
as that much yet. That spelling is tough down there, and it's a hard knock life down in Aspen. So. But I just don't understand, and I realize, guys, we all saw the South Carolina game last year. We saw what that was. We saw, that low point that was that. But we act like South Carolina is just some perennial juggernaut. Guys, they graduated a ton of their team. Now, they've got Lenore Sellers back, who is a great athlete, pretty good quarterback. But do you know the last time South Carolina won 10 games, Jeremy? Do you know who the coach was last time South Carolina won 10 games?
Was it Lou Holtz?
Yes, close. Steve Spurrier, who came in right after
Same
Lou
thing.
Holtz. Yes, exactly. Because, here's the deal. Last year, they won 9. Year before that, they won 5. Year before that, they won 8. Year before that, they won 7. Year before that, they won 2. Year before that, they won 4, 7, 9, 6, 3, 2. This is not a juggernaut team. This is someone that everyone picks ahead of us. I'm telling you right now, we're going to be a better team than South Carolina.
Yeah.
Aggregate. Don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you, we're going to be better. If you listen to SEC Media Day and our next game after that is Ole Miss, Lane is already laying the tea leaves for, they spent all their money last year. They went all for it last year. That's a team that's going to fall back. Tennessee is a team that next week, and that's going to be a tough game at Knoxville. That's a tough atmosphere. Guarantee you it's a tough atmosphere. But that's a team who's starting a quarterback, and you can say it's UCLA's transfer. That's not UCLA's transfer. That's App State's transfer. That guy went to App State to UCLA and then ended up in Knoxville. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, at Bama, they're going to be laying for us, but they're also starting a quarterback that they ever started before.
Yeah.
If we lose to stinking Missouri, you think I'd burn it down against Auburn? I'll burn it down to Missouri too. Because, dear God, how we lost that game, I don't know. Then I think we've got
the worst doomsday
best team on our schedule, LSU. I don't know. But I just don't see looking into that. You tell me which one of those games. I'm not saying we're going to win all those games. I'm not saying that. But you tell me which one of those games right now, July 23rd at 8:33 p.m., you tell me which one of those games we have no chance in.
Yeah, and that's why I look at the schedule. And that's why I said that early on, I said, if we went 10-2, I would not be shocked. It just wouldn't shock me just because there is so, and you look at last year, look at Tennessee. We played just halfway better than what we did. We win that game. We don't have all the turnovers from Hawkins, and not to blame Hawkins on that because I think he got put in a horrible situation. We don't have all those turnovers in the first half. South Carolina's a different story. Then the Missouri game, you look at like these games go a different way. We're talking about a completely different
instead
season.
of 6 regular season losses, we've got 3 regular season losses.
And that's what I'm saying. And it's like
Right.
you look at what we had last year, and it's like it's not like we were getting blown out by, 6 touchdowns. And that's what's so frustrating.
And there were 2 road games that we ended up losing pretty bad that I went to last year. The revisionist history that Texas just wiped the floor with us for 4 quarters, that wasn't true. That's a tight ball game late in the second quarter before we just completely murder ourselves with our offense. Same thing with LSU. That's a game we have a lead, and then did you see Nussmeier talking about how they laugh at our boy, the tight end who went down there? This would blank on the name right now. That Bauer Sharp, they make, and they even joked, well, Bauer knew he was coming to LSU, so he did that on purpose. See, we told you here first. But
here. Just like I expected.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't meet his grandma down there, nice lady. But
I know anyway, we don't talk any bad about Bauer Sharp because of sweet little grandma anymore. So we've learned our lesson.
That being said, that's another game that we lost. We didn't cover, whatever, but that's a game we had a chance to win in. I mean, it wasn't like that was a loss. And it's a loss. Yeah. I'm not saying we didn't earn a loss. I'm not meaning that. But, it's the old expression that speaking of Link, I was going to go into Lincoln. Did you see Feinbaum just absolutely carpet bomb Lincoln? I mean, just out of nowhere. I mean, Lincoln just catching some absolute strays from Feinbaum. So, if you aren't already listening to Feinbaum, start listening because he hates Lincoln as much as we do. But
right after you listen to Soonercast.
Yeah. But that being said, what I was going to say is, like Lincoln always would say, we're close. I mean, we are close. I mean, like we're not that far off. And like Feinbaum said, Oklahoma's in a better position right now than they were if Lincoln would have stayed. And because Lincoln without a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, womp womp.
Yeah, and it just shows you what Stoops left Lincoln.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason that Bob left, because he had a coach. He was like, I feel comfortable giving it to him. And he had it laid out for him. That's when Bob was going to leave. So it's now.
That's Lincoln's still my biggest regret, man. If Bob would have stayed that year, I think we've got 8 instead of 7.
Yeah,
I just do.
I agree. You put true serum in Bob Stoops. I'm sure he thinks the same thing.
A couple of years ago, I was actually at a deal and I got to talk to Bob just a little bit. And I really, if I'd have been doing the Soonercast, I just would have asked him then. But this is before I was a media sensation.
You're gonna ask him and me, come on, Soonercast.
Yeah. But one thing that I did, and I mean, I didn't want to be that guy, but I would love to just sit with Bob and ask him, like, do you regret that? Because I mean, he has to. Because that guy loves Oklahoma, guys. I mean, he does. And
I mean, you look at it, you have Lincoln as offensive coordinator. You have Bob. Does Bob squib kick against Georgia?
Kick it deep, Bob. Bob did freaking hunt to what's his face from OSU.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I mean,
so
hey, how many mistakes did Bob make, for Christ's sake, though? He threw a fake field goal pass with Matt McCoy to Bubba Moses.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the size of your cojones to make that call in Missouri?
Yeah. Well,
sorry,
I mean, that's
my old Bob Stoops love fest right there. But
was it on our friend group, Jeremy, or was it something else that we were passing around when Bob pulled the fake down on the road at Bama? And I mean, that's just who he was, Riverboat Bob. And, Brent has tried some of that stuff and unfortunately it's blown up directly in his face. But we
know why, because Bauer Sharp was in it on it. So
that's it. Bauer freaking knew. So now that he's out,
But Aaron bleeping Boone. Now it's going to be Bauer bleeping.
Speaking of Aaron Boone, fire his ass. cussing.
Oh,
I know.
don't
but
even
that's
talk
how
to
I
me
feel.
about the Yankees right now. My Braves are in freaking fourth. Can't win. I mean, if we win 3 in a row, I about lose my crap. I'm like, oh my God, we have a ball club. We have the best player in the National League. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Well,
I mean,
the
our
Yankees are
friend
about to
groups.
lose 2 out of 3 to freaking the Toronto Blue Jays, who whatever made some deal with Satan to be better right now. But your boy Max Fried, who I was all a big fan of, just decided to kind of wet the bed and give up 6 earned today. But
Well,
his
that's what
voodoo
we
magic
just
is.
build up players and then ship them off, and that's. I mean, we are a
Yeah, we
breeding
just wait
ground.
till they're over the hill to sign the Yankees. But anyway, back to the Sooners.
We went to a
Jeremy and I-
Major League Baseball doomsday pod in a matter of
Yes,
minutes.
there we go. But I guess, Jeremy, we should probably put a bow on media days. But one other thought I did want to share is just seeing the difference in Mateer versus Arnold and just the comfortability. I don't think that's even really a word, but just how much more at ease he looked in his interactions with the media, with his teammates, with other coaches. And that just goes a long way. I mean, leadership is a big deal. There's no denying who is, who's in charge of that offense. It's his offense. It's Arbuckle's offense. And, if it's ever going to work, now's the time. Seems to be some positive vibes from Giovanni Gibson that he's going to be, healthy enough to go. Saw some really good reports on Dion Burks lately. Heard good things on Elijah Thomas, on Satanga. Even heard some positive things at tight end. And so, it is sunshine and rainbow season. I'm not saying it's not. No one's going to go in and tell you, you know what, we suck. But if we were to take off our
I
Crimson
disagree.
Gold
We
glasses,
have a friend group. We have a friend group that would say that. So
yeah, they would. But if we look back to what last year was, it was a lot of more it's so funny. We were burned so bad last year. Everyone is scared to say, I think we're going to be pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone was scarred, and life's too short to be scarred. Here's the deal, guys. I think we're going to be pretty good. I hope we make the playoff. I think it's going to be tight. I think we're either going to go somewhere between 8-4 and 10-2. I think 8-4 probably doesn't get us in. I think 10-2 obviously does. But that being said, I'm out on that limb. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to live life saying I think we're going to suck, because I don't. I believe in it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I just feel like Brent works too hard. I think we've made some really good decisions. And I just feel like positive things are coming.
I agree. And I don't know if you saw the deal. Mateer went to Baker's camp in Oklahoma. And they did the comparisons to, because Mateer and Baker get compared all the time. They were both 3 stars. Their only offers out of high school were to Washington State. Baker just walked on to Texas Tech. Mateer went there. What else was there? Was so many comparisons to him. And somebody said, if you watch both of them, how they carry themselves, it's eerily similar to each other. Like they both had that chip on their shoulder. And I know Mateer's probably tired of hearing that reminds him of Baker, but he really does. I mean, everything he does, he halfway looks like Baker in ways. It's just the things that he does, and that's not bad. It's not like a bad sign. People are like, oh, I'm getting sick and tired of people comparing him to Baker. I'm like, why? He's a Heisman freaking Trophy winner, maybe one of the best quarterbacks ever.
If someone came to me Goss, who you look like Brad Pitt. You look like Brad Pitt, Goss.
Yeah,
I'd be like, God, quit saying that. Sick and tired of being told to look like Brad Pitt.
I do get sick and tired of hearing that all the time. I'm just to the point where I'm like, all right, I know Moneyball was a hell of a movie, but give me a break, okay? Yeah. Peyton Manning, I know I look like him. But I just feel like there's so many good signs and more positives, and we are more prepared for for the negative. And so we're scared when something looks positive. It's like it's almost too good to be true. And I think that's a lot of times how we feel as the fans. And you know what, guys, just enjoy it. I really think it's going to be a great season. If we go 9-3, that's not a bad season. Okay,
No.
so
and I mean, look,
prepared for that.
No, we won't be satisfied with that, but we're back to where we need to be. I mean, we are not a program on the level of the South Carolina. And once again, I'm picking on South Carolina, but like South Carolina and Ole Miss are not on our level. They're not. Okay. They're not. Now, if you tell me, you know, we're there with Bama and Georgia and Texas and LSU and Tennessee and even Florida, you know, okay, I understand that. Those are teams that, to me, are equals or within a degree of separation of equals to us. But, I mean, to act like we're just this mid-program in this wandering through the desert who squeaked into the top 25, bull freaking crap. That's not who we are. Yeah. Okay. Everything that could go wrong went wrong for us last year. It did.
Yeah.
You know, this time last year, and I'll knock on wood right here in the gi, and I'll knock on wood right here too. But that being said, we were already hearing the injury crap this time last year. And hopefully everyone stays healthy this year. But we were already, I mean, guys, we all know what we felt like last year when we saw those early games and, you know, the fact that our offense just did not look like what, you know, we wanted our offense to look like. I mean, our offense, even though we scored 51 points against Temple, that was a lot of turnovers. Guys, we scored 16 points against Houston. Guys, we had to resort to just running Jackson Arnold to beat Tulane. We should have known that.
Yeah.
Then. And we started
we talk about games we should have won. Hell, we should have probably lost against Houston. And I'm not 100% sure we should have lost against Tulane. So, I mean, you look at these games and you say, yeah, those games we should have won. But there were a couple. I mean, Auburn, Sooner Magic, we could have definitely lost that one. So it can go either way. But I think what I mean by when I say like the Tennessee game, the Missouri game, the South Carolina game, these games could have gone either way, and that changes your whole aspect of your season.
Absolutely.
So, and I mean, you just look at it and look at Jay Knott. I mean, Jay Knott's changed. I mean, Venables talked a lot about Jay Knott, how he's just that home run hitter they've been waiting on. We have a deep running back room. I really don't know how we keep them all happy. Because,
but here's the deal, man. If Odd is that guy, we just need to feed him until he burps. And that's no disrespect to Xavier Robinson or Taylor Tatum, or who I think will end up getting the second most carries on our team, Javonte Barnes. Something that I did find interesting is hat tip to read here on this. But who do you think had more yards last year? And you're going to know, so I framed it this way. But Caden Durham or Javonte Barnes?
Javonte Barnes.
You know,
Barnes had a better
And if you were to just ask the average person, they would tell you how much better, you know, Caden Durham had a year ago at LSU, and Caden Durham had more carries. Okay, so it wasn't like, okay, you can say that, but that's just because Barnes had a lot more carries. No, that's not the case. Okay, and so remembering Javonte Barnes as a nobody is wrong. And I mean, guys, our line sucked last year. Our run scheme sucked last year. And to be as successful as we were with that, I mean, I'm with you. I'm bullish on our offensive line. And, you know, most importantly, I've been told that we're way better on the NCAA football game this year on our offense, and that the screens are back in our offense and, you know, some of that sort of thing. So that's really good.
It's a tight end pass. So it's the question.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly That's exactly it.
Freaking Bauer Sharp lost that game for us. I knew it.
Yep, did it on purpose. You know.
I just
found that out at media days.
Another thing I'll mention before we get off on this is I am so sick and tired of listening to the recruiting about how we are just look at our recruiting stars and blah blah blah. Like I just feel like Nagy has gone a different road, and I don't know if Nagy necessarily looks at stars. You know, he does look at 4 and 5 stars, and yeah, do we want them? Absolutely. But I think for us to like lose out on guys, and I've seen on Twitter where they're like, oh, that's just destroys this program, losing that recruit. I'm like, give me a break. It's worn down. And listen to me, whenever we get back to, if we have a good season, we will.
Well, Jeremy, do you know when early signing day is? Early signing day for this year, when it's official. Do you know when that is? December 3rd.
Yeah,
December 3rd. Mm-hmm. Okay. So are we going to have a better idea? I mean, we win football games, guys. That's going to take care of itself. 100%. 100%. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what recruiting guru you listen to, but whether it's, and we like the Sooner Scoop guys here, Jeremy and I hold Josh McQuistion in pretty high regard with the recruiting thing, even though the joke is that Josh hates OU sometimes, even though he works for something called Sooner Scoop. And you can be overly positive, like sometimes our buddy of the pod, Parker Thune, is, and Brandon Drum and those guys, and they're gonna skew things a little more positive. But all that saying is recruiting is changing. Okay. Having the number one high school class would still be great. We would love to have it. We'd love to have every 5-star we got. But we are adjusting to the new normal. I think a year from now, there's going to be more Jim Nagy's. Now, hopefully it's not our Jim Nagy. There's going to be more people doing what Jim Nagy's doing after this year because I think it's going to work.
Oh, I agree.
But we're not going to know it's going to work until we get through this season and really until we get through next season as we see all these things happen. So we got to have a little patience. And we have to understand that if I was recruiting against OU, I would tell people over and over again, well, that staff's not going to be there. They're going to lose 6-7 games. They're not going to be there.
Yeah.
Because if they do lose 6-7 games, they're not going to be there. But that's not what I think is going to happen. That's not what you think is going to happen. And so we just got to have a little faith, step off the ledge a little bit when it comes to recruiting, and just know that it's going to be okay. We're going to win ball games. We're going to have a top
be very prepared. If our offense does look as good as everybody's saying it's going to, Arbuckle is going to be heavily pursued in the offseason. So, I mean,
and you know what? That's why it was big. We brought in the quarterback coach guy with him. We can, we can put that guy in charge. We can bring back Seth.
You know what? We got Joe John sitting there ready to go in. I mean, for crying out loud.
But, there's
and there goes the followers.
Yeah. Unfollow, delete.
And we have to pay money to YouTube again to put this on.
Yeah, there we go. But any closing thoughts, Jeremy, here as we get closer? Do you have any stories for us for vacation? Anything you'd like to share? I thought the video that you shared with us of Baker, Jeremy's son, and the wonders of golf. Why don't you just give our viewers a little bit of a little taste of that?
If you guys follow me on YouTube, on TikTok, I put that video on there. My daughter made a beautiful montage of his whole mini golf game, and I put the Masters theme underneath it. So he had every amount of emotion in 18 holes of mini golf that you could have. He finally at the end said that he hates this game. And I'm like, I've heard those words muttered out of my mouth many times playing the game of golf. But no, we went to Pensacola for vacation. We left out last Friday after I got off work and left out 7 o'clock, and a 12-hour drive. I think 12-hour drive, I mean, lots of pee breaks. And I stayed up for 36 hours. And I told my oldest, I said, when you have kids, you can always tell your kids that your grandpa was an absolute trooper on your family vacations and would not go to sleep. I mean, I look at pictures from our first night there, bags under my eyes. I looked horrible, but no, it was a great trip. We were going to do our pod on Wednesday, and I messaged Gus, and I said, hey, do you want to get on real quick? And he goes, I'm at basketball practice. And I was like, well, I don't think I can talk my wife into being like, got to step out real quick to record this pod. She'd be like, I hate your podcast. I don't listen to it. That's what our wives usually say. But no, it was great. We got to go on the beach, and then we drove to New Orleans on Saturday. Note to self, don't bring your children to Bourbon Street. I can tell you that right now. It seemed like a great idea at the time. I don't have to ever worry about my kids wanting to vacation when they get older to Bourbon Street. I think what my youngest daughter says, she said, this is by far one of the worst places I've ever been. Dad, why would you do this to me? You're a horrible father. These are just some of the things my kids mentioned.
Well, now they appreciate Collins. They appreciate Collinsville, America way more
they are
than they did before.
Yeah, they are definitely sooner born and sooner bred, and when they die, they will be sooner dead. So
exactly. I do want to give a couple of shout outs here. First, in the Sooner land, we talked a little golf there. Chris, I think, got her up. I think that's how he says his name. Finished third at the Open, and Scotty's just an absolute unit right now. And but congrats to him. Like he'd won like the Scottish or whatever Open the week right before that. So he's probably gonna play himself onto the Ryder Cup. My little parent corner telling is I was driving back from basketball practice with my daughter today, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to eat? And so I was having her place a mobile order on my phone for us to go drive through and pick up, because we know Goss isn't paying for someone to deliver it to him. He's not going to pay that extra money.
I'd love to see your face when you get a DoorDash bill.
Yeah, there has been 0 DoorDashes to the Goss house ever.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, we don't spend money that way. But anyway, wouldn't it be a joy to be my kid or spouse? But anyway,
we're not doing DoorDash.
Yeah, we think we are Rockefellers. But anyway, I'm having Allie send some stuff for me. And then this is when Jeremy's texting with me about exactly when we're going to start this pod. So I told him, like, hey, I'm on my way home, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what do you want me to send him? I was like, just give a thumbs up. And she was like, ugh. I was like, what? She's like, Dad, that's like rude. I was like, what? Like, not to old people. It's not. It's a thumbs up. Like, it's fine. It's the kid meme. It's it's that deal. It's thumbs up. But apparently to that generation, this is microaggression. So for our followers out there, I don't think there's many Gen Zers following. I think we're probably millennial, maybe some Gen X, baby boomer grandparent followers here. But, be careful if you send a thumbs up emoji, because apparently that's a microaggression. I was like, good job. So, Jeremy, if I offended you with my thumbs up earlier, I want to publicly here apologize that my thumbs up was.
Yes, I want to thank Allie for thinking of me on that. That's very sweet of her. I was hurt. It destroyed me. I was like, a thumbs up? That's all I get? So I had trouble getting on here, but I found a way to muscle through it. Hey, and also,
I'm glad to hear that our audience of dozens has heard Jeremy and I talk through this, and we appreciate what you've
Hey, also another. Hey, we're gonna do some shout outs. Let's give our buddy Nathan, who's
okay. That's where I want to go next. But
yeah. Sorry, probably taking your thunder, but
no, go.
No. If you've watched the Little League softball World Series in the Oklahoma team, our buddy Nathan coaches first, and his daughter, who is an absolute stud, who made probably about 5 or 6 web gems today at third. Tatum Frisbee is playing her butt off right now and playing really good, and pretty awesome. I did not know he was coaching first, and I look over there and his skinny butt was over there. I was like, is that Frisbee over at first? I'm like, why are they putting him on the camera? I'm sure he loved that. So he kept like putting his butt out there like a weirdo. But
he did say he was proud of himself for not getting thrown out over a play that he didn't think was correct at first base. So but good luck to Tatum. Tatum plays some basketball for me as well, and so we're really proud of you, Tatum. Continue to do well. Don't let your dad discourage you or get thrown out. But
or take your airtime away from.
It was pretty awesome. One of the really great plays she makes, and this is just Tatum. If you've and I get to coach her a little bit. Like Tatum is one of those like Terminator expressionless kids, and so like she just makes like a great play, and it's just just complete. complete no emotions. And but they
We're
need 2 more
supposed to do
wins
that.
to qualify for the Little League World Series. So hopefully that happens. And
hey, they got to play in the communist bracket. I mean, you don't have to beat I'm like, how do you like to go undefeated the whole way there and then
lose
beat?
once? Yeah, no, that's insane. But
Yeah,
what
I'm
we're
like,
saying is
that's
they
what-
lost their first round. And so, they're coming back to the losers bracket. But like right now, the 2 people who haven't lost are playing. And then Oklahoma's playing in their team that does have 1 loss. And they're just treating it like the regular semifinals. And then, boom, after tomorrow, they're going to play on the winner. Those 2 winners play on Friday, and whoever wins, wins. So, yeah, that's anyway.
Weird. You're like, that's weird. And
yeah,
that's what I
but
asked
hey,
Nathan
if it helps us out,
yeah,
whether or not Nate and Tatum were playing or not, we'd be for Team Oklahoma. Obviously, any Oklahoma win in the state of Texas is a good thing. But once again, good luck to Tatum and Nathan. Don't get thrown out. Don't get into it with the umpires, even though they're quote unquote tool bags. We don't.
Keep handing out your candy on first. I know.
Yeah, exactly. And eat some too, Nathan. You can gain some weight, buddy.
I know that dude you look to gain about 20 pounds. My God.
The camera adds 10, but he could use 10 more. It's fine.
Yeah, he pisses me off seeing him. Like, why don't you eat a burger? I just want to feed him. That's all I want to do. So, I know we look great. I'm not trying to say anything, People look at us like, y'all haven't aged a bit. I'm like, shut up.
We have not.
I know.
Yeah, we have not. We have not.
All right, guys, I guess that's enough telling how good we are. But if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please do. Got a lot of comments. The Texas guy was hammering Goss, and Goss was sweet enough. So comment on if you got any questions. We try to get to any questions we see on here. Basically, it's most of the time it's making fun of Goss and his statistician type stuff. So we like that. And
if I made any errors, that's fine. Call me out.
Yes.
Like, hey, that's what it is.
I like
Everyone
that
in my house is female, even our animals. So I get told I'm wrong all the time. It's no big
I like that one pod where they're like, your sound's not very good. I'm like, no, we did not hear any of it. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank God. Yeah. But no, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Apple and Spotify. And Steve, where can you get us on email?
Yeah, Soonercast@gmail.com. We are going to, I will post on our socials here in a couple of weeks. If you do want to sponsor us as we get to football season, again, we would love that. It's just going to make things better. Just would allow Jeremy and I to do some kind of cooler stuff and take a little bit of a burden off of Jeremy, especially as far as prepping this and just up the production values and all that. As much as we would love to say it's going to pay for putting our kids through college, that's not going to do that. But again, Soonercast@gmail.com. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for following us. Thanks for hanging along. And Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner.